Hey girl,
Hey, how are
how are
you?
you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Good, good. I'm well, thank you. Guys, we're joined by Sheila today, who is the owner of CocoBean Gifts. Do you want to give them a quick introduction?
Sure. I'm Sheila. I'm the founder of CocoBean Gifts. CocoBean Gifts, it's a gift box and brand discovery platform. What we basically do is just feature small black-owned brands and household items into a gift box. We try and explore different themes such as Afro boxes, tech bean boxes, self-care boxes, and faith boxes. And really what we're trying to do is, perpetuate small brands and small black-owned brands specifically out there so that people have the visibility of the brands. So, yeah.
Amazing. That is an amazing initiative. What brought that on? What brought on the thought of sort of mixing global brands with small black-owned brands? How was that birthed, CocoBean Gifts?
So the one thing I do remember is going into London quite a lot and just going into like these different events and honestly there was like a grassroots movement, especially like last year, where a lot of black women were just coming up with different type of products. Like a lot of people, you have everyone nowadays has a side hustle. And I really just thought, first of all, I was absolutely inspired by it. I think it's amazing how, we all have like 9 to 5s, but then we're kind of stepping out into this world that we have no idea about, and really trying to create a business and create a bit of a legacy for ourselves, but also people that are coming behind us. And I remember going to all these events and just meeting people. Oh, this is the business I'm doing. This is the business I'm doing. And honestly, I've obviously tried some of these products and they're amazing. And the more I try them, and I'm like, why isn't there more of a visibility to this brand? This soap is so much better, if not, so much better than like a Dove or something in a supermarket. And I thought I've always had a little bit of a thing for community, just bringing communities together. And I thought this was like a really good way to marry the two. So having a platform or just something to show all of these beautiful and great brands, but at the same time bringing communities together. And then I just thought a gift box would be such a good kind of, a marrying up thing, because I can create all these gift boxes and present them and have black-owned business brands featuring them. But also, I think sometimes we create businesses and brands and sometimes it's very for our community, and we recognize them, and I really wanted something that can step out of that and just go to other
widen the range.
100%, and get people coming into our community too, get people buying into our products. So that's kind of
that is very smart. I love that initiative of actually being inclusive. It's not just by blacks for blacks, it's actually welcoming to people who are not part of the black community and something that they can enjoy and be introduced to new small black businesses and black brands. So that's amazing. That is amazing. And when did you start CocoBean Gifts? What was the birth of CocoBean Gifts in terms of timing?
So initially it was actually, I think, Christmas time. It actually all started with an Afro hamper, which I still do, and I really enjoy it. But that was mainly to kind of put all together everything that I like: my plantain chips, my Milo like my Milo chocolates, and everything that I think as Africans we recognize, because sometimes you buy a gift box but it's very plain. It's always your bath salts, it's always your just the things that are quite just
cultureless.
Yes, there's no sauce in that, so I really wanted to create something that was a little bit colorful, just explosion of colors, of flavors. And I created this Afro mini hamper, which is basically just like a basket, but it's sewn into Ankara material. And then inside it, you got all the goodies, your chin chin, your plantain chips, everything. And that was really a proof of concept. I just wanted to see how that would perform, to then see whether a gift box, would work. So that kind of was like, CocoBean 2.0 or something, 1.0.
Okay.
And then kind of started from there. And, I just really enjoyed the process, like creating something that would bring joy to somebody else. So, yeah.
So you just grew on the initiative, basically. So it's the same essence, but maybe done a little bit of trial and error, and then CocoBean was birthed. when did you actually start, sort of time-wise? Because CocoBean, especially looking at your profile, looking at your boxes, you know, it's gorgeous and you're very well established already. So when did you actually launch CocoBean?
Oh, I think maybe at the end of Feb, properly, with a natural gift box. Before that, we obviously had the hampers, but I think the first gift box was obviously the Afro box. So we launched it in February, and it's been crazy. The growth since then, it's been...
So we're looking at 6 months, like February this year.
Yes.
Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And what was it like for you finding your feet in that new sort of space? Because CocoBean Gifts is a side hustle for you, right?
Yes, correct.
So tell us what you do for work, sort of full-time, day-to-day. What is it that you generally do?
So I work in clinical research. So I'm a clinical research associate. So it's very like science and regulatory based. You know, everyone obviously knows about Sister COVID. And, you know, it's been
the enemy.
The enemy is you're right, it's my sister. So yeah, it's been really busy, obviously, in the clinical research side because, you know, everyone literally is hands on deck to try and, you know, figure out what this thing is and trying to help people who, with the research, because at the end of the day, we're all finding a vaccine and everything.
Yeah.
I actually was working on a respiratory study, which was actually for the older generation, so older people who had a disease called IPF. And that disrupted it a lot because all the nurses, everybody, all the doctors that were working in the respiratory side of things were redeployed to COVID forward. So you can imagine how much of a restructure that was, you know, for any clinical research associate at the moment, especially within that therapeutic area. So it's been busy, but, you know.
Absolutely. And you've still managed to keep CocoBean afloat, grow it. So what was it like finding your feet in that new space, taking on, like, what was the day that you said, you know what, actually, I'm going to create my little side hustle? And then what was that first, like, 4 weeks like for you?
So actually with Corona, obviously it's, you know, it's absolutely terrible what's happened with it in terms of like how people have been affected, you know, people's lives have been lost and everything. But there obviously it also gave a way for people to work from home quite a lot. And I think everyone has had this explosion of consciousness. Like, you know, first of all, I can do my job from home. You know, I don't have to be in an office 9 to 5, you know, or even till 6 really when you account for your commute. And it really gives you time to think, you know, it gives you time to think. It gives you time to actually think, okay, what can I do in this period? And, you know, how do I want this period to really, you know, looking back at it, what can I do in order to make it like a really productive time? Luckily, you know, CocoBean started just before then, so it's not like I just, you know, it was Corona, okay, let's go. It was something that I had, and I just didn't have the time to really, you know, nurture as much as I could. So when Corona happened and you do have this free time and you really can't go out or anything, you then start to think, okay, let me try and work on this. And you know, the first thing I did was just a lot of research. You know, what have past businesses done? You know, where were the like footfalls and things like that, like where can I maybe change it or pivot it in a way that is good for my community, you know? What would I want, you know, when I'm buying a gift box for a girlfriend? What do you want? Something original, sentimental, and yeah, so like, you know, you kind of,
and I think that is super key, the research element of it, because especially, you know, with it being a side hustle as well, sometimes you get some people who might go, oh, actually, do you know what, I want to do this, and then just run off and do it. And then it takes a lot of failure to then realize, oh, this is how I should be doing it, this is how I should do it. It's actually the fact that you took time out to do your research is key. What prompted you to do that, and what sort of research did you undertake to perfect your product?
I think just obviously look at, you know, companies that have been successful in the same area that you want to pursue. So I looked at some of the big names, the, you know, American names, or like because we also run a subscription business, and actually initially it was very subscription business model based. Because I wanted something that I knew was coming in, and you know, I could kind of like count on it. However, as the business has grown, you know, people don't, especially with some of these subscription businesses, once you miss the month, then you can't really get that box anymore. Usually, sometimes it's available. But what happened is, you know, I listened to my audience, and a lot of people just wanted to get the box. Sometimes you don't want to like subscribe. So even though I was looking at the models that, you know, some of like Birchbox or Glossy, you know, these really, really big multi-million companies, I also adapted it to myself and my audience. So I really had to listen as well to what people wanted, and what I would want if I was a customer as well. So in terms of research, just looking at the big ones, looking at the small ones, you know, I don't like the word competitor, but looking at people who are are in the same space.
But it's natural, in business, they're your competitors. They're just in a similar field as you, effectively, and it is something that you need to take into account, is seeing what is, you know, Jim down the road who's doing the same thing as you. How is he? Because you need to know the market and then your market. That's like basics 101. So absolutely, that's really, really brilliant. And how did you find your community? How did you find your market? What was your
that's a good question. I think I've been very, very blessed. Like, you know, people kind of gravitated towards the idea, the concept, and the ethos of it. I'm not gonna lie, obviously Black Lives, I think obviously everything is so ordained, and so, you know, God knows what he's doing. And for me to create a box which just celebrated Black women and Black products and Black entrepreneurs, and then for you know, there's now so much of a emphasis on being a conscious buyer and understanding where does your money go once you get your paycheck. You know, are you kind of, you know, letting it run to all these corporate multi-million companies, or are you thinking of like maybe swapping a little bit, like things that you would have, you know, your Dove soaps for maybe, you know, a small Black home soap, you know. And I think people really took to that idea. I've been very fortunate that people, you know, have wanted to support it. And they also see the value of maybe getting a box and trying different things as opposed to maybe just getting one. So it's been really, really good. So that's how I've literally built my community. I remember sometimes in terms of like a social media build up, literally just speaking to your community, speaking to your audience. I've made friends, you know, they've been awesome. I've swapped numbers. We now like do little video chats, and it's been amazing.
Brilliant. And how would you say, because sometimes when you're working a side hustle and you've got your, we'll call it 9 to 5. After your 9 to 5, you feel like you've done your day's work. Like you feel like, do you know what? I'm tired. I've done my work, and it's hard to keep that discipline and commitment with the side hustle, whatever that may be. How have you stayed committed? How have you stayed like, do you know what? I'm coming home after work and I've got 6 boxes to do, or I'm going to do my social media, or whatever it might be. How have you stayed committed to pushing the business, especially being so early days?
I think it's so important to know yourself. You need to know what you're good at. So, and maybe look your routines. So for me, I think I'm a morning person more than I am a night person. So once I understood that actually, girl, you got to wake up early to do this work, because you know that come, you know, 8, 9, you're going to be like, you know, you're just not going to really have that engagement anymore. So it's like, okay, I'm a morning person. What am I willing to sacrifice? Sleep. You guys to sacrifice sleep. So just waking up really early and trying to get as much done then, because I'm active, I'm engaged, I know that I can do things, as opposed to maybe at night knowing that maybe the task in the evening are going to be like admin tasks or things that don't really, you know, don't require so much of a engagement. So I think knowing yourself is so important, because what also happens is then you don't beat yourself up. Because, you know, you didn't do that work in the night, but actually, you know, that you're not a very good, you know, you're not your most productive.
You're not an evening person. You know, if you're coming home from work, you're just going to be like, do you know what, I'll flick on the TV for an hour and then it's bed for me. So that takes discipline. I mean, I won't sleep on the fact that, you know, it's amazing that you actually took the time to say, do you know what, I'm a morning person over an evening person, so I'm gonna wake up early. It's like going to the gym. I had that like battle back and forth for so long. You know, after work, you're not going to the gym. You can tell yourself all day, I'm gonna do it. But then evening gym is so much harder. So if you get up in the morning and you go to the gym, it's done.
Yes.
So I think that philosophy is pretty much the same. And yeah, it's brilliant that you identified that and it works really well.
Yeah.
In terms of the brands that you use for your CocoBean gift boxes, particularly focusing on the small businesses, how did you come across them? How does someone get their product used by you for your boxes?
So at the beginning of the business, obviously I'm also a small business. So it's a small business trying to contact a small business about coming to do business together. So in the beginning, it was really kind of difficult because people didn't know me and they didn't know what I was doing and things. So I was doing a lot of the approaching, you know, I was doing a lot of like, let's have a look. How long have they been in business? You know, what is their concept? A lot of the brands I work with, which I'm so fortunate, they just have amazing ethos, and it's not always just about the product. They've got like a bigger vision, or you know, to help, or maybe a charity, just something really like that they've got a passion about.
Worthwhile.
Oh God, it's so and it's amazing. So I really, really like that. But obviously, from an operational point of view, I do have on my website there is a sheet where we tell you what kind of products we can curate and, you know, include in the box. So people will just like send an email, and then I kind of have a bit of a phone call or email just to explain what CocoBean is about, and then also understanding what they want out of the feature, because, you know, at the end of the day, they're giving products, and you know, you want to represent them well. So you really need to understand what exactly they want to, you know, what exactly they're looking for. Exactly. So but yeah, and now, you know, brands just kind of DM me, you know, this is what we do. And of course, it's been so good that, you know, now it's a bit difficult to like feature everybody, because you know, I don't just want to, you know, I buy the product most of the time, so I want to kind of put in the finance into the product. There's no point saying I want to support Black businesses and women and then just, you know, getting everything. So now, but there are also different ways of collaborating. It's not only the box, there's also different ways of doing things like this, you know, in terms of like lives or marketing or, I don't know, a giveaway. So yeah, there are different ways of collaborating.
Amazing. Amazing. Sounds awesome. And how would you sort of advise anyone listening who may be, because it sounds like you were quite confident approaching these brands, you know, hey, you know, this is my brand, this is my concept, would you like to jump on board? How would you, or what advice would you give someone who's maybe not as confident, who, you know, would love to collaborate with brands or maybe have a similar business to you, but they're not sure how to go about it, how to approach? What advice could you give?
I think, first of all, just do it. I think sometimes as women, we just kind of psych ourselves out of a lot of things. So, you know, you're like, oh, should I message them or should I not? Or just do it. Just do it. The worst thing they can say is no. And then you will get a yes eventually. So just, I think just have the confidence to do it. Do your research as well. Approach them in a way that they have to kind of look at you as well. So not just approach them, just like, hey, you know, do your research. And I've got amazing, you know, I've had help. I've had this told to me as well. Like, make sure you know exactly who you're approaching. So if it's a huge brand, tell them, how are you going to add to their mission, or how are you going to add whatever they're doing? What audience are you targeting that maybe they don't have, you know, have a target with, and how you can work together. So make sure that whatever plan you're, you know, or whatever way you're kind of approaching them, there is a plan there, and they don't have to do too much thinking. They just have to say yes, you know. So make it as easy as possible for them.
To get your yes. Completely agree with you there. Completely agree. And it is about sometimes just putting your fear of failure aside, or even sometimes pride, like just putting your pride aside. Like, you might get a pie in the face, like they might just say like no, they might ignore you, but you just keep going on to the next one, onto the next one, and you will get your yeses. So that's some brilliant advice. And also I would add, with collaborating, in terms of, you know, reach outs, and when you do want to kind of work with someone, you want to make sure you're both gonna gain from it. There's both something to add, whether it be exposure, whether it be, okay, you're going to buy a certain amount of product from me and you're buying into my business and I'm giving you product. Whatever it is, you want to make sure when you're looking to collaborate with someone, or when someone wants to collaborate with you, is equally, I'm talking more to the audience on this one, it's equally as beneficial for you both. And guys, remember, please drop all your questions in. I have seen some of your questions already coming through. please drop all your questions in and I will visit them. I might do half and half. Should we see what our audience are saying?
Yeah.
Let's see what we've got here. So, hey, everyone coming in. Are you saving the live? The live will be uploaded to YouTube. So it will be on our IGTV for 24 hours and then it will be uploaded to YouTube from there. And it should be there indefinitely. Hi, can we talk about it? We've got loads of highs in here. Da-da-da-da. You look beautiful. I'll take that for us both.
Thanks. Thanks.
Amazing initiative. So someone said it's amazing initiative about your box. We've got some hands up. We've got some wows. Everyone's sort of feeling what you're saying. Sheila sounds like an amazing multitasker. Absolutely. I mean, if you're literally working in clinical research, which is pretty much no joke, and then you've got your side hustle along with that, absolutely multitasker and disciplined as well. We've got some love-struck faces. Such an inspiring woman. So you've got inspiration over here. Great advice. Love-struck faces. Absolutely. We've got some agreements. We've got some pew 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 emojis. Such a lovely mission. Well done, Sheila. Heaps of love in here, guys. Loving it. Absolutely loving it. This is great. Beautifully said. Honestly, so key on what you stand for, Sheila. Love struck faces. Well done. Would you leave your job to pursue your business full time? That's a really good question.
That's a question for both me. It's a very good question. I've been asking that question because I genuinely love what I do. Like, you know, it might be a bit different to a lot of people. I think a lot of people go into business to try and leave what they do. But I really enjoy it. I'm a bit of a science head. I like to be at the forefront of research and, you know, science. I do actually enjoy it. And also maybe for the future, I'm just thinking as a career woman, you know, you've got kind of different goals and things.
Yeah.
So it's a really good question. And to be honest with you, it's been
not something you thought about.
It is. It's just not something I've yet come up with an answer with. So
that's fair.
Yeah.
And that's fair. That's fact. We're tackling coronavirus, so you're needed in your field right now. But that's actually that's fair. That's fair. We've got, is this something you plan to make? Oh, someone else also asked the same question, more or less. Is it something you plan to make your full-time business? Do you have any other business ideas in the works?
So not completely my idea, but me and my partner Richie, so we are currently kind of heading a project called Where to Med, and it's basically a platform whereby it's like a price comparison for medicine platform that we're doing in Ghana.
Oh, brilliant.
And we're basically, and it's a platform, it's like community powered. So you've got patients that basically put in their prescriptions, and we're building this database so we know what the price of the medicine is, as well as the location of the pharmacy they bought it, and then they can, you know, once we've built the platform, people are able to go into the app or online to check what medicine is cheaper around the area, because we thought that
that's
that we
brilliant.
haven't.
And what birthed that idea? Because that's not your average side hustle. So what actually birthed that idea?
The idea was actually Richie, so I'm just like supporting with it. But I know that he's very passionate just about healthcare in Africa in general, access to just, you know, information. From what I understand, in Ghana, there are different pharmacies who have different pricing of their medicine. So people are not really going to be able to see what's cheaper and also what's authentic. So there's a lot of obviously counterfeit there. So we're trying to provide a platform that provides both of these solutions. So in the cheapest medicine as well as local and authentic. So that's something, again, really, you know, really amazing mission.
And how important or sort of how has it helped you having a partner who is mentally on the same sort of level as you? So if you're both kind of working on side hustles and businesses, what's your opinion on maybe having someone who just doesn't believe in entrepreneurship?
Oh, I mean, this partner is a business partner, so it's not my actual partner.
Oh, right, okay. My bad.
Hey, Reggie.
My apologies. Okay, but anyway, same question.
Yeah.
Just in
I think,
general.
no, it's a really good question. I think it's difficult. I think you have to have the mindset of, I think, especially now, with our side businesses and side hustles, we're really trying to provide for the next generation. I believe that that's a big part of it. Of course, we're trying to, do things now, but also what are we leaving behind? In terms of generational wealth, a lot of people, that from other communities have been able to do this, but the Black community, I think, is starting now. It's it's amazing that it's even happening. I think it's great and it's inspirational, but I think you need to have a partner beside you that supports that. Otherwise, you're going to be, there's trust me, as a solopreneur, there's so many things that coming at you at different angles. You don't need an extra one from your side. You just genuinely don't need it. So I think it's important to have someone that's
even just mindset wise, like as long as you've got the same mindset, and I think there will be an essence somewhere in there. Even if you're not an entrepreneur, you're going to get it, and you need to have that, because it's a completely different lifestyle. It's not, your average 9 to 5, let's wake up, go work, tube it home, have dinner, and now we're chilling. Like, I might be up. I might be packing boxes at 5 a.m. in your case. So
you gotta be there with me.
You need to get it. You need to understand.
Yeah.
Cool. Right, let me get into a few more of these questions. And I've got one here as well. So let me...
Exactly.
What is the best way to turn your followers into sales? That's a brilliant question.
That is really...
I'll let you go.
So with my followers, a lot of the things that I do is, first of all, who is your follower? Who is your audience? Do you know them? Do you know what they do? I remember, like, when I say 5 a.m., it wasn't just boxes I was doing. I was also liking people's posts, commenting on people's posts, seeing what people were doing, going to subscribe to people's YouTubes. You want to support them, because once they see that you're on board with them, they'll support you. And I think it's just cultivating and really fostering this kind of, like, this community spirit, like, whatever you're doing, I'm there. So, they will then, honestly, they would just genuinely, just naturally just gravitate towards you. And also, if you really have a good like why, or if you have a good understanding of your business and you're communicating that directly with your audience, and they understand that, you won't have to do much, because they'll be asking you, when's that product coming out, sis? Like, we need it.
It's about relationships.
It honestly is. At the end of the day, it really, really is.
Now, I would say the same thing in terms of just nurture your followers. Speak to them, talk to them, build authentic relationships. And it shouldn't be hard to do. Like, I've never been one to really understand, like, someone asks you a question, or, someone's communicating with you, and you're not that busy. I understand if you've got 1 million followers and 5,000 questions coming in, you're not going to be able to get to them all. But where you can, you want to communicate, you want to get back to them, you want to have people who, they know you genuinely care, and then when you release something, they're more buying from you. They're not really buying the product. Because 9 times out of 10, what you're selling is available somewhere else anyway. So why do they want to buy from you? So I would say that's a brilliant answer. Someone said this is very insightful. Glad you think so. Love this. What a brilliant idea. That is fantastic. Wow. Absolutely. Patent and trademark. I think they're talking about the Ghana idea.
Thank you.
We are so honored to be working with such an inspiring woman. Go Sheila. Amazing. That's from Organic Cliche. That might be, if you got their product in your box. So there we go. They're testifying.
So sweet.
Wealthy, not rich. Yes, at the next generation. We've got hands up. You won't get investors if you're not in a partnership or team.
Really interesting.
I think you might need to elaborate on that one, because you won't get investors if you're not in a partnership or team. I'm not quite sure what that was in in relation to, but maybe Amazon, Afro Amazon, give us a little more insight as to what you mean there. We can touch on that. Thank you, great answers. That was who submitted that last question. Brilliant. Oh no, I thought that was part of the question. What would you say in terms of, at the moment, you've got your gift boxes which just go out more so casually, they're not really... Yeah. Mm-hmm. Would you look into like Christmas specials, or like what would you say is next in terms of elevating or growing CocoBean? What's your dream? Like, if you could say, do you know what, I just want to produce, what would it be?
I love it. So at the moment we have the Afro box, a Coco Care box is all about self-care. So you've got lovely items of self-care in there. But I think with each and every single box, there's a little bit of a depth to it. So even with the self-care, we have an adding pra mug, which is obviously a symbolic mug. And, you know, you've got all these beautiful symbolic characters. So there's always something that's really subtle in there. And then we've got the Coco Faith. And really the vision is to really touch on how multifaceted women are. You know, sometimes you get a lot of these boxes which are just beauty boxes, or, you know, they just kind of look at one specific item or, you know, character of a woman. And I really thought, how amazing would it be to just kind of get different boxes that speak to different bits of my personality. You know, I love anime, but I'm also gonna go and watch Nollywood, and I'm also say hello. I won't say it too loud, or else my Google will go. And like, you know, there's just different parts of my personality. So the one thing I really do want to do is definitely follow trends. You know, Christmas time would be awesome, and how maybe can come up with an idea or items that would be amazing for Christmas, but also just kind of keep what we have in place. So a lot of people have gravitated to the Afro box, the Coco Care box, and Coco Faith, and then have a specific box that's the one that's trending as per season. So that's kind of like the vision. Again, we've only been like live for 6-7 months, so it's all kind of like learning on the job and learning what you know, kind of hearing what the audience has. One of the things that I can even give as an example was the Coco Papa Bean box, and literally even the name we all created with my audience. I literally was putting out some information. I think I said, would you guys like you know, a gift box for men, you know, because I do get a lot of, you know, ladies coming up to me and saying, I really want to get something for my boyfriend, I don't know what to get. And then I think I did a little poll and I got carried away with it, and at the end of it we had like a whole new box. So I think it was like 72 hours to try and get people to give me.
That is amazing, though. That is amazing, and to have that interaction from your audience,
it was awesome.
It's brilliant.
It's really good. Really good.
Fantastic. And if someone who is listening now hasn't been able to familiarize themselves with CocoBean, what sort of things can they expect if they were to order a box from you?
So depending on their mood, you know, whether they want to do like a nice self-care, you know, pamper kind of evening, then they could go for like a nice Coco Care box. Like I said, that's got the mug, but that's also got like masks and, you know, like a nice scarf and just things like candles, just things that you would just love to have around you when you're doing a little bit of self-care. What's been very popular lately has been the Coco Faith box, which obviously, you know, I'm loving. And that's amazing because the journal itself is from a Black woman. She creates these journals, and I think she kind of created them in order to kind of encourage women to journal whilst they go through their faith, which is, you know, again, amazing. And then you've got all these other items that are just beautiful. You've got a frame with a picture, you've got a book as well for the Coco Faith. So, you know, and all of these obviously can be amazing gifts. I mean, it's a gift box, but obviously gifts can also be to yourself.
To yourself, exactly.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And the Afro box is obviously an explosion of all these colors and, you know, flavors and everything that's vibrant and amazing about West Africa in particular. Obviously, you've got your chin chin, your plantain, like I mentioned before, a nice silk lined bonnet. What else have you got in there? Some conditioner, which I actually had to use the other day, which was really good. So it really depends on, you know, what your friend is like,
your
or
mood.
what you're like.
Are you trying to chill? Are you trying to, you know, touch down West Africa? I feel you, girl. So there's something there for everyone.
And that's actually the vision.
Yeah, amazing. And how was the Black Pound Day in terms of for your business? Did you see benefits to it? What's your opinion on it?
First of all, I think it's an absolutely amazing initiative, and I think it's a really, really important initiative. I think especially in the Black community, you know, I don't know how much research everyone's done, especially, you know, within the last few weeks, but it's really important that we invest in ourselves. It's really important that we don't just, you know, say, yeah, we're supporting, but actually we're not putting our mouth, you know, or our money where our mouth is. I love the fact that it's not just a month, but it's actually, it's not just a one-time event.
Yeah, it's going to be reoccurring
occurrence, and I think that's really, really important, because you're not going to get all the brands that you probably like in one go. So I think it's really important for us to have, even mentally, okay, am I spending this money in the Black-owned businesses? Am I spending it in the Black economy? I think it's really, really important. And I think my audience, my Coco fam, you know, they showed up on Black Pound Day, and it was incredible. I was just so happy. So many people supported, you know, and I remember just doing all-nighters, creating boxes, and it was amazing. And the fact that, you know, we might do that again. We will.
God willing, yeah, like
we
let's
will.
speak into existence, if not anything else.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. I think 1st of August. So if you guys are planning to treat yourself to a little pamper box or a taste of West Africa, 1st of August is the next Black Pound Day. Check out CocoBean. I'm going to get into a few more of these questions. So we've got lots of claps in here. What are some of the hurdles you faced? Have you faced any hurdles at all?
Yes, of course. As any like new business, you would always do that. I think my biggest one being, you know, being transparent, because I do a gift box. It's not like you've got one item and then you send it off and, you know, you're good. I work with multiple founders, multiple small businesses, and, you know, I then have to create one. So I have 4, 5, even sometimes 6 products having to put into one product. So it's just a lot of work. Inventory has been, you know, something I'm working on, and God is helping me. You know, just kind of, especially with things like Black Pound Day, for example, you know, there was a rush of orders and you're thinking, whoa, okay, now I need to, you know, replenish myself really quickly. So just understanding some of the operational details of your business is really important. So even writing, I don't know who's in corporate, but writing SOPs for yourself, like what to do when your stock is at 10, reorder, you know, what to do when this happens, what to do with this. And then that way you don't have to think of it. You just have to go through your sheet that you've created, and you know exactly what you have to, you know, follow.
Have to do. 2 questions. Oh, sorry, not to cut you.
No.
For anyone listening who's not sure what SOP is, would you be able to let the people know?
Standard operating procedure. So it's like your guidelines, your almost, your step by step. What are you going to do in case, you know, something specific happens? How are you going to react? And just kind of following that procedure and being able to, you know, have the results that you need.
Amazing. And the other was, in terms of your inventory, how do you manage that, or what advice would you give anyone who maybe is in a similar business to you, or in a business working with inventory?
Yeah.
I guess some people make the mistake of buying heap loads of inventory and not really having the sales to back it up, or buying loads of things that maybe their customers aren't too keen on, but they just went off of their bright idea and now they're struggling to sell it. So what advice would you give for anyone working on a business similar to that in terms of buying inventory? How would you say they should manage that?
I mean, if anyone has any answers, I would also like to know. But at the moment, what I've done, which has worked quite well, is I buy a certain amount, so maybe 12 or 10 or 20, depending on how well the product is doing, 20 items. And then I set myself kind of like a threshold. So if the number is going down, you know, then that's when you kind of have to activate and be like, okay, to buy. Excel is your best friend. Obviously, having something visual, I'm visual, very visual. So having something visual to look at and, you know, kind of enter. I've had to, you know, get myself into a discipline of doing things every week, so that you're not missing things. And it's, to be honest, it's a work in progress. I think every business is going to be so different in the way they manage their inventory. And also you have to think of space. You know, if you're running your business from your house, you've got a limited amount of space. So you have to be, you know, conscious of that as well. And also kind of things like, you know, expiry dates, if you've got product that is, you know, perishable. So just making sure of not buying too much and then the expiry date is like, you know, 2 months from then. So even with the vendor, maybe sometime check in, okay, the batch that you're sending me, what's the expiry date on that? Just so that you've not got that pressure of having to sell or then having product that you can't use.
That's gone off. Yeah, that's actually a really good point to note. That is probably something you wouldn't think of, really.
Yeah.
So that's really good. And in terms of quantities, because sometimes you'll have, when you're buying in bulk, you'll have certain deals. Maybe if you're buying over X amount, it's cheaper. So how do you manage to maneuver, like, what's your strategy with that?
Yeah, that's something that I've had to learn again. So obviously with CocoBean specifically, we're not just like a gift box and then, you know, you get your gift box and you walk away. Or you know, or a vendor or someone who wants to work with us will just have their, you know, their product in and then that's it. We really want to, you know, perpetuate, market, shout about your product. So I think that always needs to be taken into account, because we are working almost as a marketing you know, kind of way. So just like you would social influencer, you know, you could also have your product in a gift box and have that exposure from that. You know, you're tapping into our audience, you're tapping into our kind of community. So I think it's important to value that, you know, and I've had to like learn after a little bit in my business that actually that really does carry value. It's ad space, you know, it's advertisement. And not only that, it's not just like on a sheet, it's your product that's going to one of our, you know, Coco fan members. So like really making people understand that. And I think whenever you really, you know, communicate that, people understand, they understand it, they will honestly be very, very happy to kind of negotiate something and see the value in it. So I think, that's really, really important.
Amazing. I mean, it's brilliant and it shows. And a common theme throughout all of our Candid Conversations thus far is having a real plan, a real strategy in place, and a real knowledge of your goal and your product. And then it's not like an accident that you've fallen into being successful. I mean, you're maybe just about 6 months in and already you've built an amazing relationship with your community. You know, you're having amazing Black Pound days and sales and everything like that, and it really shows. And it speaks to just your knowledge and your strategy. So that's brilliant. That's brilliant and well done, honestly. And actually, right on time, we've got a comment in here. Go sis, which is from GA London. Such an inspiring woman, an example for us women. Amazing. That's a beautiful comment from, is it Gilead Gordani? I'm so sorry if I butchered your name just there. We are beyond beauty.
Yes.
You get it.
Yes, that's literally my kind of motto.
Amazing. I'm with it.
I love that.
We've got a question here for you. What are the first steps from turning your idea into a business? Also, this live is amazing and so inspiring. Oh, that's amazing. Thank you, Jade Flynn. What would you say? So in terms of turning a concept, an idea into reality, what were the steps that you took?
Well, because I work with small businesses, you know, I always hear this, and a lot of things that I hear is actually I was doing it for my family, and then they encouraged me to kind of start making a business. And it's like just that little step that you take, like if you're good at something, if something inspires you, if something makes you happy, and if you're able to, it's almost a bit selfish to keep it to yourself and your family. You want to share it, and people are going to be willing to pay for it. People are really going to be willing to, like, invest in you and your your idea, your vision. So I think the first thing is just recognizing that, okay, this business can actually do, this idea or talent can actually be monetized somehow. And then kind of, sitting down and really understanding where and maybe how other people have done it. There's always going to be a template, in terms of a person,
someone who stepped there before you. There's a path somewhere.
There's always, and like just kind of look at that. Just look at that and then emulate it in the way that works for you. Because obviously that's also something that you can't just copy somebody and every single way they've done it. That won't work either.
No.
So I think at first I just, in terms of like really practically, everything you got, if it's obviously, for me, it's a gift box, I buy everything, I cost everything. And then also what I have done previously, even podcasts, like a lot of the things, because no one else in my circle was doing what I was doing, so I had to rely on information that was public or people that were doing it. So there's a podcast that I listened to, and they said that they give you an average of how much you should be making within your within that field, and then you just do that and then kind of work around it. And I think the fact that the information is just so needed. So I think it's out there. It's definitely out there.
Definitely, it is. Podcasts, even there's heaps of pages on Instagram that just are filled with information, webinars, courses. Google is your entire best friend. And then the next thing, once you've gained all of the motivation that you need, and all of the information that you need, you have to just do it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what most people struggle with, is actually just doing, like, standing on the ledge of this is what I want to do, and then just like jump in. And I think so many people hold themselves back. So just literally do it. And then you find that along the way, things start working out suddenly. Like once you jump into it, everything starts working into your favor. You just jump, just do it. And if it goes wrong, it goes wrong. But you've definitely learned a lesson off of the back of it.
Absolutely.
So I hope that helps. Jade Flynn.
Turn the light on.
May your business continue to grow. Some well wishes from Fola Kemi. Thumbs up. Well done, ladies. Really proud of my abro. Is that abro?
Abro, yes.
Abro. Look at me learning. We got some waves here from my bridal box. Also very open and supportive of other female-owned businesses. That's probably talking about yourself. I've got some love-struck faces in here. Heaps of love. Loads and loads of love. Amazing. And we're already at 10:02. Doesn't time fly?
Wow.
So what is next for Sheila and CocoBean Box?
Oh, it's a good question. Well, we do have an Afro box, which I'm so excited to bring out, because we're going to have an amazing product in there, which I'm particularly excited. So watch out for that. Hopefully next week, we'll get kind of announce all the dates and everything for the release. But we also, so obviously with our Coco boxes, the whole point is to promote small businesses, primarily Black-owned businesses. We do, of course, feature household brands, because I think my thought was, it's always good to open a box and actually have something that you're familiar with, because then it kind of carries a certain different kind of feel. So if you've got something from MAC in a box where you don't, at least that the MAC is there and you're gonna be good, right? So this is, in the future, I would love for brands to, of course, collaborate with us and even really foster this whole, entrepreneur, small businesses, maybe get brands to do certain kind of like teaching or sessions with people, and really just feed the community with just knowledge and we all have to come up together. So that would
Yeah.
be amazing. And of course, we're looking into different themes, you know, so if you guys have any themes that you think, you know, we might want to explore, just let us know. I just completely love it. Something else that we're doing is obviously doing some swaps with our boxes just to keep it nice and fresh, different items. So yeah, there's lots coming up.
Amazing, absolutely amazing. And if anyone wants to find CocoBean boxes and gifts, where should they find them? What's your handle for your business page?
So the Instagram, which is probably the one that I know for sure, it's at CocoBeans, CocoBean_gifts, and then all the other platforms, which is Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn, is I think at CocoBean Gifts.
Amazing. And if they want to get in contact with yourself,
Sheila Talks on Instagram. So drop me a, you know, I'm always happy to kind of have a chat about, you know, any ideas or any ways I can help. You know, I am thinking you know, actually, you know what? Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Keep some literally for the next interview. We'll touch base in a year's time. Speak about the growth.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to go through the last of these and then we will. So thank you, ladies. Time for me to just jump into it. Absolutely. And all the best with that, Jade. Let us know how you get on. Keep us involved. Such an inspiration. That's from Shan. My sister is so smart and creative. Sets such a great example. That's from GA London. We've got some claps in here. Amazing. You guys have been amazing today. Heaps and heaps of love for you in here, Sheila, which is amazing. And it speaks to everything that you've been discussing today, really, just about staying in touch, you know, building authentic relationships. And it's been phenomenal.
Thank you.
I want to thank you very, very much for spending your time with us today. Everyone, grab yourself a CocoBean gift box. Head over. 1st of August is the next Black Pound Day, so if you're looking for an excuse to spend, head over to CocoBean Gifts. Sheila, it's been absolutely phenomenal to have you.
Thank you so much. And just one word.
Yeah.
You've been fantastic. What you're doing is amazing. Giving this platform to people like me who are quite small, but, you know, coming up. And I've seen your interviews before. You're doing incredible. So thank you. We need this. We have to have this. We have to have these conversations. We have to help people. So thank you so much for reaching out. It's been amazing. I was really nervous.
I said, girl, you good. You said, girl, you good. Just come on here and we'll talk. And we spoke. And look at all the love. Look at all the love floating in. Amazing.
Thank you.